I have to show you this body. Not my body, I mean the one that I'm wearing, this top. I mean, you can look at my body if you like, but joggers on the bottom, standard influencer life. Don't fall off your chair, don't do that. But I mean, it's so pretty and comfy, and I've got no bra on. Am I the only person who's excited about that? I'm obsessed. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So for today's video, I'm going to be trying out some new makeup. I'm going to be trying out some products that are new to me and some products that are new to all of us. I have the brand new brush from Sonia G. I have to try for the first time on camera, I think, the Dior Millefiori blush, the holiday blush. I have one of the new shades from Victoria Beckham of her crystal infused eyeshadows. Nars sent me over their new matte primer, and I'm going to be trying their soft matte concealer for the first time. I have a new shade of the Eldridge foundation. I've got the Hermes Highlighter and also this holiday stunning lipstick from Guerlain. Is it Guerlain? Yes. Oh God, it's not a good start. So if you are interested in my thoughts on all of these products that are either new to the market or new to me personally, then keep watching. So I'm going to start off with my face today because I'm going to be doing something really simple on my eyes. I was actually sent this from Nars, which is their matte collection. So I think the primer is the only new thing. They also have their soft matte foundation and the soft matte concealer, which I have never tried. And I know for lots of people, it's like amazing, a holy grail. So I thought, as we're having a more matte moment today, I would try this primer out and also give the concealer a try, because the concealer may not be new, but it is new to me. So I thought, oh, why not try that? So this is the primer packaging. I love Nars's packaging, always very chic. Oh, it's white. I'm going to use like a small amount because I don't know how much we need, but let's see. By the way, if my eyebrows look a little much today, they are very freshly laminated. I had them done yesterday, so I haven't touched them since. So they are looking a little much, but that's okay. They quite quickly settle in. And once I can have a shower, yesterday I had to have a bath because you can't get them wet for 24 hours. So I had to have a bath and be very careful. But yeah, this is not bunching up, which is a good sign, especially with a more matte primer. I kind of expect it more with a matte primer, and that really went into the skin nicely. My skin doesn't feel or look really matte, which is nice, because I was expecting it just to literally like suck all the life out of my skin, which it hasn't done. It seems like more of a primer that is going to be smoothing, pore filling, and also maintain your makeup for longer. So it's supposed to control oil production as opposed to mattifying your skin, if that makes sense. So I feel like this actually is a matte primer that I could get along with, just because it's not trying to, like, as you can see, I still have some glow and my skin still feels hydrated and silky. It's just going to stop like more shine coming throughout the day. So I'm going to try this with my Eldridge foundation. This is a new shade. So I picked up the shade 19 initially, which was probably a mistake, as it was just, we were getting into the cooler months, and obviously I lose my tan skin tone quite quickly when we get into winter here. So yeah, I should have gone with 17, which I always knew was going to be my winter shade, but I didn't. And now I have 19 to mix with and to, you know, use when we get around to like spring. But I thought I would show you this shade 17 today and try this on top of the Nars primer, because I have only tried this with my Tatcha, so it's nice to see how it goes with a different primer as well. I mean, you just need such a small amount of this for like a natural coverage, but one that takes away all the redness and balances everything out and just perfects the skin. I am in love with this foundation, and I'm falling more in love with it like every day. This colour match is just, I mean, look at it against like my neck and my chest. Like, it doesn't get better than that for me. But in comparison to this side, I used the tiniest like half pump then, and it's like, Hello. How I've been using this foundation, because it isn't matte, but it isn't glowy and luminous either, and that's, you know, typically what I prefer, especially in my like kind of everyday foundations. And so what I've been doing, just to give this a little bit more of the finish that I like, is I've been using it with my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter. I've got to be careful around these eyebrows. If you're thinking, why is she not putting foundation near her brows, that's, I don't want to touch them for like the first 24 hours. No makeup, no water, no nothing. We've got a few hours to go, so just being careful. So yeah, what I've been doing is just applying some of the Hollywood Flawless filter to like the areas where I like a bit of glow. So I'll put a big sort of swipe on each cheek, swipe above the brows, down the nose and on the chin, and then kind of mixing the foundation in with it as I go. And that has just brought this foundation from like an 8 to a 10, and I'm just really enjoying it and loving it and growing to love it more each day. And now that I've got my correct shade, I love it even more. It's tricky picking a shade when you're like in between summer and winter for me, because I don't want to pick one that's much too light for me when I'm purchasing it, but I also don't want to pick a shade that I'm only going to be able to wear for a month and then it's going to be too dark, which is what I did this time. But it's no biggie. I'll use 19 when we get to springtime, and it's nice to have that ready and waiting for me. By the way, I'm not going near my eyes. I have primed my eyes already with some concealer and powder, so there's a lot of strange things going on in this video already, I guess. So I hope you guys are doing well. I feel like it's been quite some time since we had a sit down, just chill makeup, get ready with me type of video, having a little chat. So yeah, what has been going on with you? We are getting into the swing of Christmas here. I put up my tree at the weekend because my husband is back and forth in winter. He's barely here, and we wanted to do it when we were all here and all together, and we were feeling in the Christmas spirit because we went to a couple of sort of Christmassy things. So we went to the Christmas festival nearby to us, and we also went to the big opening of all the Christmas displays in the garden centre near us. And so we were just feeling Christmassy, and the kids were just begging, and I was like, if we don't do it now, we're not going to hear the end of it, so let's just get it done and enjoy it. And it was such an enjoyable time putting it up. I just love it. They sent me the shade Custard. I think this would be a decent shade. Oh yeah, that's a perfect shade for me. I love actually how Nars, when they added me to their list, I got to choose my shades that they were going to send me, which was fantastic. They didn't just sort of guess, they asked what shades I thought I would be, and they've been spot on at sending me the correct shades ever since, which is great. This is a great shade for me concealer wise. I'm just using a tiny amount because I think as a cream concealer I will only need a tiny amount, and that's really looking nice. That's cancelled out all my darkness quite quickly and easily with a tiny layer, and this is looking very smooth. It's really blending in quite nicely. It's quite new for me. I don't remember trying a pot concealer for a very long time. Been a long time since I tried a concealer in a pot. So yeah, we're getting ready for Christmas. Christmas plans are forming. We always spend Christmas Day with my family, which we'll be doing this year as per the usual. We've got kids' Christmas lists all sorted. Shopping has begun, and it's, we're getting down there. We're getting ready for Christmas. Can't wait. Already started watching Christmas movies. What are your favourite Christmas movies? I have a few serious hardcore Christmas movies. The other day we watched Deck the Halls, which I thought was going to be a bit too grown up for my kids, but they actually really loved it and thought it was really funny. I love The Holiday, which isn't really, it is a Christmas film, but it's not it's not about Santa. It's not really for children either. It's much more of just a feel-good movie. I could watch that all day, every day, and it just always makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So this bronzer is not new, but this brush is new. This was gloriously gifted to me by Sonia herself and Beautylish, and this is her new Niji Pro brush, and I am absolutely beside myself. This is so soft and gorgeous. Do you know what it gives me? Like Silver Fox vibes. The colour of these bristles, it reminds me of like George Clooney, his hair, you know? It's got that Silver Fox hair going on, and it almost looks, I talked about this in my stories, it almost looks like it's shimmering, that it's just stunning. I don't know if you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about, but trust me, she's gorgeous. So quite flat, but wide. In comparison to the Face Pro, it is wider, but it's much narrower. So I'm thinking this is going to be great for like more of a sculpting bronze. Let's see, I'm a bit nervous. I don't know why. Oh, wow. Do you know why I was nervous? I don't know. Why am I nervous with a Sonia G brush in my hand? What a wally. What a numpty. I was almost expecting, and I don't know why I was expecting this because I should have known better. Sonia would never do this to me. I was almost expecting it to like lay down too much pigment, like it was going to have picked up a lot, and I was going to get like a stress because this Charlotte Tilbury bronzer is pigmented, and so I thought for a second this is going to like lay down too much and I'm going to have an issue. As if Sonia would ever do that to me. No, she would not. This is so easy to get around the hairline. It's the perfect size, you know, so soft. Wow. This is why I love Sonia's brushes. This is why I love these type of brushes, because I'm so heavy-handed and I like to go in, you know, lots of times I like to buff, I like to swirl in the pan, I like to be heavy-handed. I just love it. I just can't get enough. Whack it all on. That's my vibe. That's how I like to do things. And obviously with a brush, if the brush picks up a huge amount of pigment and then doesn't blend it out easily, that's a problem. That is a problem. But this is just doing all of the blending for me. I just could do this all day. I feel like we're probably done bronzing, but I just want to do it for the rest of my life. So easy and so soft. Wow. It's nice to see actually that the foundation with that matte primer underneath is not looking any more matte than it usually does. It's looking still lovely in that satin, that natural finish. It's just gorgeous. I'm not really noticing any other difference. It still looks beautifully smooth. It's not soaked in anywhere. It doesn't usually. It's looking just as nice as it does usually with my silk canvas underneath. So yeah, I'm really liking that primer. Interested to see how this foundation wears. I mean, it wears beautifully by itself anyway, so we'll see. I think as well, if you give this a pinch, this is going to work nicely down the nose as well, just to bronze your nose up. Make sure you still have one, you know, noses can get lost. Beautiful. That's lovely. Definitely going to be battling for my favourite bronzer brush. I'm going to keep trying that one out, but so far she's in love. So I'm going to switch up now just while I've got my bronzer here, because I'm just going to put a bit of this bronzer in the crease, because I'm going to be using that Victoria Beckham single shadow on the lid, and I don't want to do anything much. I just want to do a bit of bronzer in the crease and then that shade to be the star of the show all by itself on my eyes today. Because I feel like if you're going to buy one of these pot single eyeshadows, you kind of want it to be a one and done, don't you? You don't want to have to be using a palette as well. I just want to whack a bit of bronzer in. I mean, great if it doesn't even need the bronzer, but I think because this shade's a bit lighter, probably for me it could do with just a bit of bronzer in the crease. I actually thought that these single shadows from Victoria Beckham were creams, which is probably why I haven't purchased them before. But apparently they are actually powders, just like a sort of loosely pressed, like a pigment, I guess. Oh, this packaging is very nice. That is so pretty. And on the back you can see the colour. So that's helpful. If you have a lot of them, you can see which colour you've got. And then it's got, oh, got one of these little jigger-me-pokeries inside. It's their official name. So I'm going to use my Rephr 21. I haven't worked with these shadows before. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to kind of treat it as I would any of these types of products. And I'm just going to get a load on my brush and I'm going to slowly start working that in. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. This is definitely one of those purchases that could lead to like me buying 5 more shades. I have had my eye on honey and also tea rose as well. Oh, this is so pretty. Wow, this is definitely, you could do this with the lightest little wash on your lid and it'd be such a pretty, simple daytime look. It's looking very reflective, very pretty and understated. I'm not seeing any fallout, which is a bonus. Again, these types of shadows, I maybe would have expected a fair amount of fallout, but really not seeing any. I might use my little finger now just to pat and see if we get definitely a bit more payoff there. I'm just going to kind of concentrate that extra in the centre, so it's going to kind of catch the light a bit more in the centre of my eye. Perfect, like holiday look this, if you don't want to do too much, if you want to keep things easy, quick and simple. This is just lovely, very pretty. What are we thinking? Super pretty. Have you tried these? This is my first experience of a Victoria Beckham shadow. So far so good. Definitely could be ordering a couple more shades of that, especially as these are, I think she's got her 20% off sale. There's something in my eye now. She has her 20% off sale at the moment, so everything is 20% off on the whole site, so I definitely think I may be picking up another couple of shades of these. Although Cult Beauty as well has their 25% off, although they seem to just have everything out of stock there from the brand a lot of the time. It's hard to get Victoria Beckham beauty from anywhere else because they don't seem to stock new arrivals. Something is really badly in my eye. Well, usually whenever this happens to me it ends up being a dog hair, so that's great. So let's whack some mascara on. This is the Bite Beauty, not a new to me mascara, but just the one I fancied wearing today. I think when you've got a nice understated eye like this, I like to go big on lashes because I just feel like it's an easy way to have a really beautiful kind of eye-catching eye look by just doing like the minimum as far as eyeshadow and then going all ham on the lashes. I think that's such a pretty look that looks like you did nothing, and she basically did. So next let's have a look at this Hermes highlight. I mean, oh my days, she's pretty. She is pretty and very expensive, but has become one of my all-time favourites. I mean, I just feel like this is exactly what I love about highlight. I love this kind of glossy look that it gives my skin. It's very smooth, it's not too much, it's a perfect colour, it melts into the skin. I can like swirl my brush and go ham and it's never too much, and it just makes my makeup, even though I have a matte primer on and not super glowy at all foundation, I now feel like I look glowy all over because this highlighter just adds so much like glow and luminosity, but without it looking like a highlight and without it looking too metallic or not natural, or without it not sitting on the skin or melting into the skin how I like it to. And this just does it for me, and the colour is so flattering, and I frankly am obsessed. And I can only apologise because it obviously is a madness of a price point, that highlight, but I absolutely love it, and I may even love it more than the Pat McGrath. I'm currently trying to work out which of the two I love most, and I just can't really say right now. I'm a bit flummoxed as to how I could choose between the two. I think I might even prefer this one. I just think the shade is a little better for my skin tone, but obviously the Pat McGrath is better for your wallet. So let's have a look at this Millefiori, if that's anything like how you're supposed to say it, blusher from Dior. So this was one of their holiday blushes with that beautiful embossing that is almost already gone. Consider this a lesson not to buy products for this embossing, because mine is already almost gone and I've probably used this 3 times. So please always make sure you actually like the product inside as well as the pretty embossing, because if you're going to use your makeup like I do, it's not going to be there for long. So I talked about this, I can't remember when I first got it, maybe it was in a monthly favourites or something. It's a little light for me, but I did want to show you it on the skin. I mean, I'm pretty much as light as I get now in the winter, and it's not that it doesn't show up, it does just about show up. It's definitely giving some colour to the skin, but I think because it's that little bit too light, it looks a little off, like it's almost like looking a bit chalky, because it's actually almost lighter than my skin tone, and so it just is kind of looking, I think it actually looks decent on camera, but in person it just doesn't really look like blush. It looks a bit like I've put a lighter powder on my cheeks, which is not really what I'm going for. But yeah, I think it's on fairer skin tones, it will be very pretty. I love the finish of it, that lovely glow. I think it's a lovely shade, but I'm having to put so much on to get a bit of colour there, and then it looks a little, the colour is just a little off for my skin tone, but a pretty blush nonetheless. Just going to give myself a little bufferoo there and try and make sure everything is seamless as possible. Very pretty, lovely little wash on the cheeks. But yeah, it's a little tricky for me to get the payoff that I want from that blush. I'm just going to do another layer of mascara, because too much is never enough when it comes to mascara in this house. Okay, so for lips today, I'm going to be using my Guerlain Holiday packaged lipstick that I just think is to die for. Here is the case. I mean, it's so pretty. Look at that, those gorgeous sequins, love it. And I have my name engraved inside. Sorry to blind you, sorry about that. So I got the like marbled red shade. Very, very pretty also. But again, is it actually as pretty as it looks on the lips? Let's find out. It's definitely a more sheer sort of formula, this. Like, it took quite a lot of layers to kind of build up to this more vibrant colour. But I think that's quite nice, because for lots of people with a bright colour, they might get a bit intimidated or feel like it's not going to suit them. Whereas with this colour, you can just kind of, you know, do a little and it be a bit more sheer and feel a bit less intimidating. Or you can build it up like I have. I love the finish. It's that gorgeous, like juicy, healthy, shiny, but not glittery finish that I really love. And it feels so nice and like hydrating on the lips. On me, it's definitely pulling a bit sort of a pinky red rather than an orange red or like a true red. But I'm not mad at it. I just love the packaging. I think the bullet itself is stunning and it's really pretty, and it's definitely something that I feel like is perfect for Christmas in this time of year, and it just makes me feel really happy and festive. So here is the finished makeup look with everything all together. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking? What was your favourite product from today? What did you like the best? What did you not like? Have you tried any of these products? Here are my thoughts. Okay, so how do I feel about all of these products? So first up, really pleasantly surprised about the primer. I really was just setting myself up to really not like it. I really was expecting it to mattify me and to feel very dry and chalky and give me that really just like all of the moisture and the hydration that I've put into my skin from skincare this morning would have got sucked straight out, and I would have been like a flat, chalky looking canvas, but it didn't do that at all. So I was really pleasantly surprised. I really didn't have high hopes. I'm kind of allergic to the word matte, and in a primer I'm just instantly thinking, oh, it's going to take all the glow out of my makeup, and it hasn't at all. I don't feel like the foundation I used today looks any less luminous than it usually does. Just hopefully there'll be less shine throughout the day, and hopefully it's going to help with the wear. Not that the foundation I use today needs any help, but obviously if you have an oilier skin type, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm just going to leave my makeup on as long as possible today, because for why not? Let's experiment, and I'll let you know how we go in the comment section down below. I am going to go to the gym in a little bit, and we'll just see how it goes. You already knew how I felt about the Lisa Eldridge foundation. I'm in love with it. It's one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to be using it for the foreseeable future frequently, and it's kind of my go-to now for evening time because it has no SPF, and almost all of my other favorite foundations does has SPF, so they can be subject to, you know, Ghostface Mary, which we don't love, especially not around Christmas time and New Year's, when that could really cause some very graphic issues. So this concealer, again, this is not a new concealer. It's been out a long time, this soft matte concealer from Nars. I, again, had very low expectations. One, because it's got the word matte in it. And two, I think I'm just so set on my favourite concealers that I just in my head believe that all of the others are awful before I've even tried them, or a lot of the ones that I haven't tried. I just don't feel the need to try any because I have like my holy grail concealer that I love. I'm really impressed with this. I used the teensiest amount on a little brush. I feel like this will be really good for people who like a very minimal amount of makeup, who maybe want to use this to spot conceal just where they need it, for people who like to just, you know, dab a finger and touch where they want a little bit of something, maybe you don't wear foundation. That's going to be a dream for that. So far, I mean, we'll see how it goes with, obviously with concealer, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to creasing throughout the day. At this moment, it looks fantastic in my under eyes. I've just checked it when I just finished my makeup. Let's zoom you in. I mean, I think it looks flawless. Really not soaking or creasing into lines. I think it looks fantastic, very smooth, more or less covered everything that I want it to. Tiny bit peeking through here, but I use such a small amount. I would definitely use that concealer again. So yeah, that is a definite hit for me. While we're here, let's have a look at this eyeshadow. I love this. I think it's so pretty and just simple, and you can just get such a lovely like everyday look with this with just minimal effort. I think it's so lovely, and I really like how it applied. I love the fact there was no fallout, and I'm going to definitely pick up a couple more shades of this. I think it's lovely. I was really pleasantly surprised. It's kind of been just what I've been looking for, actually. Now this Niji Pro from Sonia G, just absolutely love it. I was so excited about this brush because I just knew that it was going to do exactly what I wanted it to do, and it was just so easy to do my bronzer how I like to do it. I didn't struggle. It gave me such a soft diffused application, and I could have just bronzed with it all day. As you probably saw, I could not stop bronzing because it was just such a lovely feel to the brush, and it was just so fun and so easy. I do sometimes feel like the Pro is maybe a little too large, and I bring my bronzer too close into towards the center of my face, and I feel like this brush is going to slightly alleviate that issue that I give myself, that I cause myself every time. I think this might be like new holy grail bronzer brush, as I suspected it would be. What else have we got? The Dior blush, I kind of already knew how I felt about it. I just wanted to share those thoughts with you and show you guys what I think about it, which is that I like the blush. I think it's a lovely formula, but I just think it's too light for me and it's just not really a good colour for my skin tone. The Hermes Highlight, should we zoom back out? What are we doing? The Hermes Highlight, I absolutely love it. I wish I didn't, it's super expensive. I hear you, I totally understand what you're saying, but I'm obsessed with it. I can't get enough. It's just so pretty and beautiful and seamless, and it just melts into my skin and it gives me exactly the highlight that I love, of dreams. It's just gorgeous and glorious, and I have zero regrets about picking it up. I would of course wait for a sale or an offer, or just skip it altogether if you're not as obsessed with it as I am, or you don't really like this type of highlight, the shade is not for you, of course give it a miss. But for me, this is like what I live for. And then this lipstick, again, I don't think I'm wowed by it. I'm more wowed by the packaging, which I always say, try to remember that's all it is. It's just packaging, it's not the product. And obviously this is refillable, so I can get other shades that I may prefer, which will make it even more of a wow. I love the formula, I love the finish of the lipsticks. I think it's super pretty. The shade itself is nice, but it's not like show-stopping. It's not super different from anything else I have, but it is really pretty and it does make me happy. Like, I put this lipstick on today and it just made me smile, which is what else do you want from a lipstick, really? Is that everything? I feel like I've forgotten something. We already talked about this eyeshadow, but I think this is my favourite thing that I use today, other than the products I already know about, my Lisa foundation. And this mascara from Bite, I mean, I've talked about this before. I love it. It's amazing. This is an almost fresh tube, and as you can see, it's phenomenal. It kind of loses its absolute wow factor a bit too quickly than I would like it to. I wish it just stayed doing this for like a couple of months rather than maybe 4 or 5 weeks. But it looks banging. So there you have it. That is everything that I had to share with you today, to try out, to play around with. Oh, microphone. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.